Welcome, everybody. Can you all stand with the Pledge of Allegiance? James, would you like to say something?
So let us pray and ask God's blessing upon this meeting. James Atterbury, pastor of Amargosa Christian Fellowship. Let's pray. O Lord our God, we come to you in prayer to request your favor and blessing upon this board meeting of the town of Amargosa Valley. We thank you for the many blessings you have given us, which include the freedom to assemble here for the good of the citizens of our community, as well as the freedom to speak our minds. May we use our rights in a way that honors you and builds others up, rather than tearing them down. We ask that you would use us to bring peace and unity to our town. For you have said in your word, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." We pray that this board meeting would be marked by the fruit of the Holy Spirit, which include love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. May those who speak here think carefully about what they're going to say, treating others as they would want to be treated. Grant the members of this board the desire to lead by their words as well as their actions. Give them wisdom, give them courage, and give them the endurance to work for what is good. We ask as well that you would protect our volunteer firefighters and police officers as they serve us. We ask for all these things by the authority of the name of Jesus Christ, the risen Lord of all. Amen.
Thank you, James. Okay, welcome to the August 22nd Town Board meeting, 6:30. We have a quorum. Okay, approval of the agenda. I am going to be pulling on reports the Planning Committee. I am pulling number 5, 6, and 7. Okay, general public comment. Up to a 3-minute time limit per person. Action will not be taken on matters considered during this period until specifically included on an agenda as an action item. Is there anybody for public comment? Seeing none, I'm going to close public comment. Reports, town office report. Becca?
All right, Rebecca Lucas, LUCAS. Our bills are pretty much right where they should be laying. Let's see here, for our regular bills, we're sitting at $7,463.46. Our recurring is $8,464.34, and our credit cards, checks, and petty cash is $10,319.32. With the checks and petty cash, there are a few bills we need to touch on, so I'm going to pass that over to Mike.
So you see those two big ones up at the top up there. That is the phone charge for the communications facility that we have. We have been dealing with AT&T for close to 18 months trying to get this issue resolved. We have called, we have been put on hold, calls have been dropped. We finally got through to somebody that sent us the information that we needed. We are getting these taken care of, and because nobody will talk to us with account that's delinquent. So once we get that set, we're going to start looking for another provider for our phone system. But they have been an absolute nightmare to deal with, and this goes back before we even got started there. It was something that happened before, and it got dropped, and but we are getting it caught up.
All right, so with that being said, our grand total for bills this month comes out to $26,247.12.
Okay. I make the motion to pay the vouchers as presented.
I second that motion.
Okay, I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Okay, fire department report. Jessica.
Jessica Catermas, Kadrmas. This month we had 18 total calls, 2 fires, 14 EMS, and 2 other. For training, we started working on wildland and brush fire refresher training, especially after what happened last Sunday in Pahrump that we were called to assist with. We really want to touch and make sure that we're as good as we can be on that. We are also continuing with our EMS refresher course. We just covered vital signs. Next is going to be patient assessment for our newer people that aren't quite so used to the medical scene. We're trying to get them integrated pretty well. All of our vehicles remain operational at this time. As far as vehicle purchases and stuff, I'm on the agenda later. But our WISE contract, the one that we got through the tribal grant money from the BOCC, that contract has officially been signed. Their deposit's been sent, and our truck is being built. We'll have that in about a year and a half. Our OSCO tanker, once we finish up here tonight, and our deposit sent to them, we should have that truck by November. And our extractor was paid. Yay. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I have a question.
Yes.
What are the 2 others?
The other calls within our reporting system, calls that are kind of labeled as like a landing zone or those kind of, it's not really necessarily a medical call or a fire call, it kind of lands in the middle. That's what other is on these reports.
Okay.
It's mainly like landing zones, good intent calls, a call where we're dispatched but then canceled, that's kind of thing. That's where it falls within that category.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, thank you, Jessica.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, tourism and economic development. Becca.
All right, Rebecca Lucas, LUCAS. So to report on events, we haven't had any events for the month of August, but let me think. I don't think the town has any events for that the town is sponsoring for the month of September either, but in October there may be a Fall Fest event, and there will be a lot of school sporting events coming up. So I'll be trying to get those into the newsletter so that we can come out and show our middle schoolers some support because we're finally getting those sports programs back. So it's really important to come. They sell snacks out of the kitchen to raise money to keep these programs alive. So now that we've got them back, let's support them.
Which sports programs are we getting back? Can you identify?
So right now we have volleyball and basketball. We have cheerleading back. That got brought back last year. And next year they're hoping to have soccer and football. So they're working on trying to rebuild the field out back. They do have some sponsorships in the works to get AstroTurf out there. So, but they did discover that the back, 2 acres of that field is on BLM land, so they're petitioning to try and get that as a part of their school land. So that's kind of drawing that up, hindering that project as well. But the hope is to have football and soccer next year. They also brought back track and field last year, so they have that as well.
Do you know if they're doing the baseball this year? Not through the school, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Pahrump Valley Rec League does have T-ball. They have baseball for all ages. Yeah, but they practiced all summer every Thursday, but their games are in Pahrump. So it's a Pahrump team. They would just hold practices out here so that the kids didn't have to commute.
Okay. All right, thank you. Senior Center report, Dave? Sorry. Oh, Mr. Cottinghim has something.
Dave, try it. Okay, a lot going on. In addition to the solar and the lithium mines, Acres is open, and hopefully they're going to expand into those 3 greenhouses that are behind them. Mr. Mueller has bought one of the dispensaries in Las Vegas and will be rebranding everything hopefully by September, October. That whole MJ property that's in receivership, they've got that 100 acres on Anvil Road. They've got the 4 40-acre parcels that are behind Curaleaf, plus the mobile home park. That is an absolute nightmare of what's going on with various state agencies and so forth. And we are working, trying to get the property on Anvil, talking to somebody that might want to lease that out and so forth. But we've probably got 3 or 4 different government agencies involved, and it is just a nightmare what they did out here. You did see that solar recycling thing in the paper that Prump turned down. It was in Prump Regional Planning. We have talked to that person once, and we've seen everything that they got, and there may be something there for us. We are not sure. All the issues that they raised over there, of course, a lot of them pertain to us. So we have asked them for a second interview, hoping to get them to come over, and hopefully that'll get going forward, bring some more jobs. And then I have a couple other things, but I'll talk about those in board member comments. Any questions? Okay.
Okay, Dave.
Dave Hall, HALL, with the Cedar Center report. We had a really good month again. We had 475 meals we served. There was actually 8 homebound, which we've been doing for a little bit of time, but that's 110 more than we did last month at this time. And it follows last month's also. We were 100 or so over. So things are really going pretty good doing a lunch. It's working out really well. And so we're going to continue that lunch for 1 more month, and we may just, keep on going with it. So Tuesday and Friday will be breakfast, and Wednesday and Thursday are lunch. Grants, it's the grant season. All our applications have been submitted, and we're awaiting a response from Division of Aging. And we haven't heard anything back from them yet, but they all have been submitted on time. Friday pool night continues to be a great draw. Potluck dinner, we've upped it to 5:30 instead of 6. And due to the increased number of people that play, they don't want to play till 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. So if you're planning on, doing pool, you need to be there at 5:30 to enjoy the potluck and then continue on with the pool matches. Commodities for this month, we're really down on families, only 93. It's probably that time of year when it's so hot, people don't want to stand out there. It was also really a pretty tough time for volunteers. Pam and I weren't there, and we were really short. Thanks for all the people that really pitched in and helped out. I know there was some people that got phone calls and said, you better come help or I won't cook dinner for you tonight. So that was a real blessing, and we got it done, but it was a real tough month. It was short on people and long on heat, if you will. Just a reminder that the open pantry is open upon request. We still have a lot of canned goods and non-perishable stuff that we continue to have from LDS. Plus, we got a lot of stuff from 3 Square this time that we don't usually get. So it was all non-perishable stuff that we have in stock. It's not the kind of normal stuff, but it'll suffice and be able to give to people if they need it. Our next Board of Directors meeting, barring any complications with other meetings we might have, will be September 10th at 10 o'clock or quarter after breakfast. What we're trying to do in the next couple of months is begin a 5-year plan. And so the next meeting we'll have the preliminaries. We'll look at some of the stuff that we want to look at over the next 5 years. We'll both do operational and facilities from that standpoint. And we'd like to open it up to all the people in the neighborhood. We'll go ahead and send out some, I'll have Mike send out Rebecca send out notices to people, and we'll get some flyers up so that people can participate, because we want to kind of look at what we can do for the community that we don't do right now. Is there more stuff? Is there a different kind of stuff? Where do we want to go? And I think it's really important that we do this now, because my discussions with Mike, Carolyn, there'll be a time period where there'll be some monies available and some funds for these people that supposedly are going to come to this valley, and we need to take advantage of that and make sure we get our 2 cents in, and make sure that, on top of some of the other grants that we're working on with LDS and with, Division of Aging, we get some kind of money that's sitting out there that might be available. 80 days, we've decided this year to do it a little bit differently. We're only going to have one major raffle prize, but we're going to do baked potatoes. And the theme is baked potatoes and loaded. And so we're working with, our cooking staff and all the volunteers. We're going to try to come up with a kind of a unique menu, because most of the time you see fries, you see hot dogs. We're going to try the potato thing this year, see how it works out. We'll have, one major door prize. We're only going to do, instead of having our big Chinese raffle or whatever that doesn't go over so much anymore, we'll just have one location, and we'll try to, at least supply that. Plus, we're working on a flyer to hand out to folks that stop by that facility. So I'll have more on that as we put it all together. And I believe that's all. Any questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Oh, commodities.
Oh, yeah.
September 9th. That's a Monday, so after Labor Day. So that's our next commodity distribution.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, let's move on to number 8 for possible action, discussion, and deliberation to approve, amend, or deny minutes from the AVTB meeting on July 22nd, 2024, and the Town Hall meeting July 31st, 2024.
I make a motion we approve the minutes as presented.
I second that.
I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Okay. Number 9, for possible action, discussion, and deliberation to approve, amend, or deny the budget adjustments for fiscal year 2024 to correct the negative account balances moving forward. I'll make a motion that we approve the budget adjustments to fiscal year 2024 to correct the negative account balances moving forward. Can I get a second?
I second that motion as stated.
Mike?
So, hi. I was sneaky this time. I snuck up all quiet. So we had these a couple months ago as well, right before we had our budget hearings. The importance of these is correcting these negative balances before I input the new budget, so that our overdrawn accounts don't draw from the new budgeting money. So we need to get everything squared away and everything positive. That way when we move into the next fiscal year, nothing's impacted from the past fiscal year.
So we have not, quote unquote, overdrawn anything. That's, the money gets allocated to certain line items in the budget, and we may overdraw a line item, but there's money coming out of another one to even that out. So our total end of year expenditures are still within what our budget was. That's all we're doing, is moving it around so we don't have any negatives on our audit.
I'm going to open it up for public comment. Is there any public comment on this? Okay, seeing none, I'm closing public comment. Any board member comments? Okay, I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
All right.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay, passes. All right. Number 10, for possible action, discussion, and deliberation to approve, amend, or deny to move forward with the purchase of new water tender from OSCO using PSST funds as previously approved in the April AVTB meeting. Fiscal impact, it's a deposit of $20,000 and the remaining balance of $102,850 due upon delivery of the tender. Jessica?
Hello. Hi again. So yeah, back in April, we approved the purchase of this tender for a max of $125,000 out of the PSST funds. We actually came in underneath that. We're coming in at like 123 something. And so now we just need to have you guys approve us being able to say, yay, we can send our money and we'll get our truck.
What's it worth to you?
I could show you some ankle. I got my ankle boots on, but I have pretty pink socks on, if you want to see.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the expenditure as presented.
I second that motion.
Okay. And I'm going to open for public comment. Is there any public comment?
122.8 with that change.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay. All right, seeing no more public comment, I'm closing public comment. I'm calling for the vote.
Aye.
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 Thank you, Jessica. And you may as well just
Yep.
stay where you are.
I'm just staying right here.
Okay. Number 11, for possible action, discussion, and deliberation to approve, amend, or deny adding a remote monitor to the purchase of the new water tender from OSCO. To be paid from PSST funds, this monitor will be beneficial during the times of limited personnel. Fiscal impact, $9,487. This is a really good add-on.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to be very beneficial to the department. We already have one of these nozzles on our tender 43, which is the newest tender that was added to our fleet last year. And it has really been, it's made landing zones so much easier. It's made MVA, which are car accidents, so much easier. It's made a lot of things just very, very helpful with the fact that we have such limited personnel on every call. And it would be amazing if we could.
Would you like to explain to everybody what it does?
Yes, sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I forget you're here sometimes. A remote front-mounted monitor is like the nozzle that's going to be right above the license plate on the front of the truck. It's got a handle and like controls on the inside of the cabin, so only one person is needed to control the flow of the water. You just lift a little switch and you can kind of control it like a joystick. The nozzle itself kind of changes, so we can spread it out so it's a big old fan pattern. We can shrink it down so it's just like a straight, like a straight spray, like that comes out of like a regular nozzle. And it's just kind of, it's a very good multi-tool when it comes to the many different ways we have to deploy water.
Okay, so it is a nozzle. It's the monitor part confused me, but it's the same as on the new
Yeah,
one.
the monitor
Okay.
is like the whole installation. It's like the mount, the nozzle, and everything is called a monitor. I had to learn that one really, really fast. Jack explained it to me for like 3 hours.
Okay, I'm going to open this up for public comment. Does anybody have any public comment? Come on up, Dave.
Dave Hall, HALL, former firefighter. Now I'll tell you what, for what they have to do, one person, you don't have to pull a hose, you don't have to clean a hose. It's an excellent, excellent addition, especially with a landing zone. You don't have to prep for it. You can just be ready by pulling up on the scene. I would really, so it's worth its weight in gold because you need an extra person every time you go out if you don't have that.
Thank you. It's a good recruiting tool for potential firefighters, too.
And there is money in that account to cover that purchase.
Okay, seeing no more public comment, I'm closing public comment and calling for the vote.
Aye.
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 Passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Okay, number 12 for
Can I just make a short comment? The truck that we'll be getting in about 1.5 years from Weiss also will have that feature on it.
Excellent, thank you. I think it should come on everything now, you know, makes it so much easier.
The city stations don't like them, so they're not standard.
Mike wants it on the maintenance card. No, that'd be a hard no. Okay. Number 12, for possible action, discussion, and deliberation to approve, amend, or deny payment to Kilowatt, a partial payment of the emergency standby generator. Fiscal impact $127,000. Total project approval was $239,000. Funds to be paid from a grant of $200,000 approved by Nye County Commissioners. Mike, would you like to explain?
Sure. This is the project that we've been working on for quite a while. Got sidelined by COVID, and it's still making progress through the system. So the generator's been ordered, but we just need this payment so we can finish that up, and then we go on to the next step. But that will be a tremendous addition to us once we get that done.
Okay.
So I make a motion to approve it as presented. Was there?
I second that motion.
Oh, then I think we have to
Okay.
take on it.
I'm going to open this up for public comment. Is there any public comment on this? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close it. Brenda, did you have something?
No, I'm just going to make a motion.
Okay. That's okay. All right, then I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
That says okay, good. Number 13, for possible action, discussion, deliberation to approve, amend, or deny the motion to adjust the current town fee of $7 per pound of cannabis grown in Amargosa Valley to $7 per pound of small bud and flower as defined in NRS.
So I'll make a motion that we approve this as read.
Hold that. Yeah, just slowly.
So I make a motion that we approve this as written.
I'll second that. Thank you. Okay, Mike?
Just a short explanation on that. This just clears up some language so that they don't have to pay the $7 on waste that comes out of that stuff. The way that that system works, just real short, is you have to test every 5 pounds that they produce. And that test is $350. About what it is? Yeah. So it's about $70 a pound to test that stuff. And if it fails, you know, you don't get that back, or if you don't get the return, if it doesn't qualify as flower or bud. And so if they were having to pay the $7 a pound on that, it would just be increasing their loss. So we're doing just as the original verbal agreement that we made with Acres way back in 2015, I think. So it's 2014. So it's good to have them open again. Those are good jobs down there. They're paying high teens, I think, high teens or something, yeah, with benefits, and those jobs don't exist out here. And so it's glad to have them back.
Open and paying again with
Yeah, and paying
with the
again.
owner.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to open this up for public comment. Is there any public comment?
I just got one really, really fast question. Jessica Cattermas, Kadrmas, just so I could get through that. Are we going to be doing it on distillates and stuff too, or just flour?
Just on what they grow.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
the distillates, we didn't tax any of that, and we are the only town in Nevada that has a tax on that stuff.
Yeah, that was my question because I know that was the big thing there before was distillates and wax and stuff.
Yes, yeah, no, we're not, that goes into, well, in fact, the lab is moved, and the lab is moved into Vegas.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Also, for your information, starting wage is $17.50 an hour, and you get a raise every single year from the 5 years I worked there.
Okay, thank you. Any more public comment? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close public comment and call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Okay. Okay, number 14, for discussion only, gym floor repair replace. As you all know, when it gets hot, too hot, it looks like we have gophers in here. Then we make it freezing like it is tonight, and the floor comes back down. It's how old is it?
Your mom was, yeah, it's at least 15 years old.
Yeah,
It's
and
not as old as the paint.
and I think it was with a grant, and it's not the best quality, but I mean, it's served us well. But I don't want anybody getting killed, and I don't want a gopher coming up, because that's what it's looking like. So we don't have a tentative budget, but we wanted to discuss it because we haven't had a capital projects workshop yet. And this is a perfect example of why we need to, identify the needs and the wishes and come with bids and ideas so we can plan and prepare and whatever. Kind of goes in our 5-year plans, all these things too. But, Brenda, have you looked into any? Okay, go ahead, Brenda.
So I talked with a few flooring places. I haven't got back, they haven't all gotten back to me because everybody wants a different measurement. Some people wanted just total, some people want me to tell them how many doorways there are and things like that. So basically I looked at taking it all down and just polishing the concrete, right? That cost was amazingly high, $100,000 to $80,000 just to get rid of everything and have concrete. I haven't got any of the other bids on the other flooring. I wanted your input because I do have samples. We can't use these because the bounce factor is not very good on these, but it's an example of how much better flooring has gotten over the years. It's improved a lot. And we would probably look at another modular floating floor, but with better quality. So I just wanted people's ideas.
What are the other options besides the modular floor? Because of what we've gone through with the...
If you do the sheet vinyl, you have to go back and fix all the broken tile and all the floor underneath.
Oh, I mean, I was talking about really pulling this out. Is there another option?
There is another floor underneath it.
Ugh, okay.
So underneath this are those vinyl tiles. And those are, some of them are cracked and some are broken. So we'd have to go and either tear out. It's the taking up that gets you money.
Okay.
Rebecca Lucas, LUCAS. So I know Carolyn kind of briefly mentioned it, but because these floating floors are maybe higher quality, will that help, like kind of prevent that waviness we get when it gets hot in here? So we don't have to run the AC so cold because it is just raking up that bill.
So I'm looking, I have 2 people that do outdoor courts that have the same for indoor. So it would be a higher quality, but it'd be higher heat resistant too. And it's not just there. If you look at this floor, you can see it's raised wherever there is a joint. So it's not just some places, it's the whole floor.
I wonder if, I didn't know that there was an existing vinyl tile under there, and if that's what's creating the lift with the glue, no?
So this one, because it's floating, it contracts and expands. And when we get a lot of heat, it expands more than the floor size. But the other issue is that it's older. They've made a lot more modifications to the floor. There's a lot of innovation in it. And the ones I'm looking at actually do courts outside, and they use this material that has a high bounce factor, because this has a low bounce factor. If you put a basketball in this thing, it doesn't come up like it's supposed to.
I did have one more. This is more of a comment. If we do replace these floors, I do recommend maybe finding better storage for all of these carts because it's denting the floor in the corners. So maybe if we're going to be spending all this money for better flooring, we'll have to find better storage options for the chairs and all the carts that don't fit underneath the stage.
My other question is, do you think it's even repairable? Yeah, because you got to have repair or replace, so I'm just putting it out there.
I know. I don't think it can be repaired because of just how old it is and how much give it has now. It's like a Band-Aid or a bandage, or a rubber band. As it expands more and more, it loses its elasticity.
Well, I would like to see on the next agenda then is, let's do our capital projects workshop. We can do with our another 5-year plan, to see what we need, because we're going to need this information when we work with some of the solar companies and things to get an idea of what our wants and needs are. So I'd like to, let's think about a time that we can all make work, a date and a time, and we'll put it in the next newsletter, and also put it in the next agenda, and then we'll do this thing the right way. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Appreciate it. I mean, that was in our attention, but phew, okay. All right. Number 15, general public comment. Up to a 3-minute time limit per person. Action will not be taken on matters considered during this period until specifically included on an agenda as an action item. Is there any public comment? Okay, please state and spell your last name.
Jessica Cattermas, Kadrmas. You guys gotta have somebody to come up here and talk, I swear. I forgot during my fire department report, in September, there are 2 major conferences going on. We have the Rural Nevada EMS Conference, which we have 2 of our members going. Juan and Jennifer are both going to be going. They're going to be representing our department at that conference. There is also I forget the name of it, but it's a firefighting conference that's up in Reno the weekend before the EMS conference. And thanks to a grant from Department of Emergency Management, we actually get to send 2 members for free. Their ticket and their hotel and stuff is paid for. They just have to pay for their travel. And that one is in Reno, right? Reno. And we're also having a car wash the 2nd Saturday in September up here to help raise some money so our guys can have a little bit of free spending money while they're at the conference. All right? Thank you.
And the town pays for their travel,
yes.
So it's no cost to the...
Yeah, it's just so that they can have some spending money. If they see like a really cool pair of trauma shears or something that they want to get.
Okay. Jessica, thank you.
Rebecca Lucas, LUCAS. I just want to piggyback onto that. When you said that the town pays for their conferences, it comes out of their training budget that we allocate every year.
Their travel pay, because everything's else
Yeah,
is covered.
their travel, everything, it's all covered under training.
Okay. So, turn the page too quick. All right. No more public comment? I'm closing public comment. We're moving on to board member comments. This item is limited to announcements or topics proposed for future workshops. Sara?
I would just like to put out there, if we're going to redo the floors, maybe we can repaint it at the time the floors are done.
That goes without saying.
Well, I just figured I'd throw it out there. That's
What
all I
color?
have.
Yellow? No.
My mom would like that.
Mike?
Yes. I sent out this notice from the Nevada Department of Water Resources, sent that out to everybody earlier.
Can you read it?
Yeah, can you see that? So it has to do, if you have, everybody that has a residential lot has 2 acre-feet of water. If you have bought extra water on top of that, so you have extra water rights, hopefully you've got an account with NDWR, and monthly you go on there and post your meter readings, because they are getting serious about this, it looks like, because you have to proof those every year, that you are using them. And this was one of the things when I talked to them at the receiver on the MJ property. They have 180 acre-feet on that 100 acres right there, and they haven't pumped a bit in a year. And I asked the guy, I said, what are you doing to keep your water rights current? The guy had no clue. He's from an office in Southern California, so I explained it to him shortly. And I know we've got people out here that have, you know, maybe 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 or more acre-feet attached to their property. So if you do, please stay aware of this, because the state is in our area monthly checking meters. So please stay up on that. When I sent it out, it's got the website, got a phone number, so please call them to stay up on that so you don't lose those. Because believe me, they like nothing better than to take them away. You've heard me talk every time I'm up here about the hazards of lithium and so forth. So now, and we talk to the solar companies, they kind of ignore it. No, everything's fine, it's well taken care of. We've been watching the news, and just since our last meeting, there was the accident down by Baker that turned that truck over, and they had to route the people back to Newberry, I think down to Needles and back up. And then the one that's going on in northern Nevada outside the Tesla factory where that truck turned over and they closed I-80 for a while. Well, what this proves is that our federal government is shoving this solar thing down our wherever, and they have made no plan, no equipment, and no training to deal with this lithium stuff. Zip, zero, zilch, nada. So the thing we get today, NTSB, which is the National Transportation Safety Board, are sending a team out to look at this to figure out what the blazes to do. So I know you think I get a little worked up when I talk about this, that we're on our own, we got to develop our own stuff. It's proof right here. They don't have a clue. Caltrans, at that mess down in California, they just had to shut it down and stand around. Didn't have a clue what to do, and I think Jack said the trailer is still there. And the stuff is there, and they're going to spend how many millions of dollars, remediating the site. And so, fortunately, that's it.
Good, thank you. Brenda?
I just had a few things. I wanted to update you on the BLM lease on the park. We have to have the county commissioners put in a lease, and then we can take over that lease, or they can transfer that lease to us, but they have to do the paperwork. So they're doing that, and I've emailed Nick Kay all of the information that shows us as a governing entity in Amargosa. And so we should be getting our park lease by the end of this year, I think. And then I had a question about extra bins at the dump. Can we get extras or not?
I can answer that one. So you are not the first one, Rebecca Lucas for the record, LUCAS, you are not the first one to ask me that. I have called on it. We are maxed out. They will not give us any more, but they do. They say they pick it up twice a week. So down at the dump, they pick up twice a week, but we're maxed out on space, so they will not give us another one.
Do we know, I think it's Tuesdays and...
I know it's Tuesdays. I think it's Tuesdays and Thursdays because they do residential pickups on Wednesday. So I think they take care of the big dump ones on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And what they do is they pick up the full ones and haul them out, and then they bring in empty ones to replace them. And they're supposed to do that twice a week. So.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, just wanted to give an update on the mineral withdrawal. I spoke to Nick Pay today with the BLM for an update because I'm getting impatient. I feel like we're running out of time. The letters of support came into the BLM from the National Park Service and Fish and Wildlife for the mineral withdrawal in their support. The BLM will be filing the application, which is a change because Fish and Wildlife was going to do it. But BLM is taking the whole thing on behalf of all three agencies. So we will be watching and pushing things forward now. That should be forthcoming pretty quickly here. And if it's not, I'm going to be shoving, as I told Nick. I'm going to push gently and then shove. But now some good news. I look at it as good news. I wanted to share that the BLM has terminated their meetings with Rover Metals due to not having adequate information. They were having every 2-week meetings. They had no studies with them, like they came here with the town hall. That kind of did them in. That was an eye-opener for Nick, who was here along with everybody else. And so they terminated those because they have nothing to share, wasting their time. Regarding the mining claims by Rover, the state office has not received the filings nor any fees for Rover's new mining claims. And it appears Rover may have money issues and lack of studies. So those two things, and they have not called, they haven't written, there's nothing, and it's crickets. They have not put anything out on their website for over a month. No anything. And when the last thing that they came out with was they were moving on something up, I can't remember what it was, but it's in Canada. So I think they're losing investors because you can only run at 3 cents a share for so long. And so if you believe in a higher power, let's hope that he just stops the whole thing in its tracks. But we're still going for the mineral withdrawal because that does not stop anybody else from coming in there. And if you know anybody with a load of money, somebody could step in and buy those claims, and we could shut this whole thing down. But, I'm going to talk to the conservancies and stuff. I think, because they're staked, So anyway, that's what I've got. I thought that was pretty good news, but we're still pushing to get it to the federal level and go for segregation. Okay, on that note, I'm going to close my comments and board member comments. So number 7, for possible action, set a date and time for September 26, 2024, board meeting at 6:30 p.m. I'll make a motion to do that, as stated,
I'll second that motion.
and I'll call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.